Before we begin, please support the channel by subscribing. It really helps me create more calm history stories for you to relax and fall asleep to. Now, close your eyes, take a slow, deep breath, and imagine the sea, endless, dark, and restless. This is where the real pirates lived. Forget the movies. Forget the stories of buried treasure and grand adventure. The real life of a pirate was not glory, it was hunger, fear, and salt. Each morning began the same way: the sound of ropes creaking, the constant slap of water against the hull, and the low groan of men who had not slept well in days, perhaps weeks. Their clothes were never truly dry. Every breath they took tasted of salt and damp wood. The air smelled of sweat, rum, and smoke, a smell that clung to the ship like a curse. They lived side by side in narrow, cramped quarters, their hammocks swinging mere inches apart. At night, the ship moved with the gentle rhythm of the waves, and the men tried to sleep while the sea whispered beneath them. Some prayed for their families, for safety. Some dreamed of the solid feeling of land under their feet. Most simply stared into the suffocating dark, listening to the ocean breathe. The food was never good. It began as salted meat and hard, dense bread, and it often ended as rot. Weeks under the sun turned everything sour. The biscuits, which they called hardtack, were frequently riddled with insects. The drinking water, stored in barrels, turned green and stagnant. Still, they ate because hunger left no choice. Rum was their only escape. It burned their throats as it went down, but it silenced the gnawing hunger, and it made them forget, for a little while, the sickness that spread silently among them. Scurvy, fevers, wounds that festered and never healed. The sea offered no mercy, no remedies. When storms came, the ship became a coffin of wood and rope, tossed on an angry ocean. Rain hammered the deck with the force of stones. Waves rose like mountains, swallowing the sky. Men shouted to each other, their voices swallowed by the wind. The sea didn't listen. It only took, but days of calm were no better. The sea was flat and still, like a sheet of blue glass, and the air refused to move. Their lips cracked, their throats dried, and every man counted his breaths like coins, trying to conserve his strength. And yet, the middle of all this suffering, there was something that kept them alive, a raw, untamed freedom. They lived by no king, no master, no laws but their own. The pirate code, which they all agreed upon, was simple. Every man had a voice. Every man had an equal share. The captain led, but the crew decided. It was a rough life, a dangerous life, but it was theirs. When a ship appeared on the horizon, a single speck in the distance, the oppressive silence broke. Men rushed to their stations. The cannons were loaded, the smell of gunpowder burning in the air. For a few tense moments, every heartbeat on the ship was the same, waiting for the first shot. The battle came in smoke and thunder. Wood splintered into 1,000 pieces. Voices shouted commands and cries. Iron cannonballs flew through the air. A man could live or die in a matter of seconds. And when the smoke finally cleared, only one flag remained flying. If they won, they cheered, a raw sound of relief and triumph. If they lost, the sea took what it wanted. Treasure, as in chests of gold, was rare. Most of what they took was practical: food, cloth, rope, and more rum. But on the rare days when they did find gold, the ship came alive. Laughter, something seldom heard, filled the deck. For a short while, they forgot the sickness and the hunger. They drank, they sang, and for a night, the sea seemed almost kind. But it never lasted. The gold ran out. The rum disappeared, and the horizon stayed the same endless water, the same unforgiving wind, the same endless waiting. Some men jumped ship at the first port they could, disappearing into the crowds. Some were caught and hanged, their stories ending at the end of a rope. Some simply vanished into the ocean without a sound, lost to a storm or a fall in the night. The rest kept sailing because there was nowhere else to go. They were outlaws on every shore, but they were free on every wave. So, when you imagine a pirate, don't just see the gold and the laughter. See the salt etched on their skin, the deep cracks in their hands, the weary hunger in their eyes. They were not heroes. They were survivors. They were men who traded comfort for freedom, and in the end, found only the sea. So tonight, as you listen to the sound of the ocean in your mind, remember them, the nameless men who lived and died between the waves. Not for riches, not for fame, but for the one thing the land could never give them: the right to choose their own fate, however brief. Now breathe slowly. The wind is calm, the sea is quiet, and the pirate's last are at rest. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe for more stories and sleep well.